thanks for joining me to color. Today we're going to be working on this super cute Christmas card. The little image is by Whimsy Stamps. It's called Snowflake Penguin. Isn't he cute? I love him. And this is a shaker card. You can purchase this kit over on the store blog, and I'll put a link to this down in the description box along with everything I've used. I would love for you to come shopping with me. There are a limited number of these kits, so if you love it, don't wait. Head over and grab one right away. So I went ahead and I stamped my image in Nina 80-pound Solar White cardstock. So let's go ahead and get to coloring. So let's go ahead and start with our penguin's body. We're going to use T9, 8, 7, and 6 for that. And I'm going to start with my T9. And let's go ahead and start up here on his face. So let's go with a little bit up here by his hat. And then I'm going to come along the back side down here towards the bottom where it's tipped away. And then we're going to go around this way a little bit. Let's go ahead and go up here to his arm. And then it's going to be pretty dark underneath where his face is kind of bunched over the top of his head or his neck. I'm going to go ahead and give that a little bit of color too. His arm's pretty close here, so I'm going to fill that in. And then let's go up here past his arm. And then we're going to go next to the fur on the hat. And then again, I'm going to go next to this little face part. Okay, let's start with that. We'll see how it goes. Next, we will add T8. So for T8, let's go ahead and do a little bit swiping away from this line. I'm going to leave a little bit there for our 7. And same for here. Let's do a little bit along each one of these lines. If you close the gap, it's no big deal. It's kind of small down in here, so I'm going to fill this in. And then up here, we'll go up over this little bump that looks like he's got one in his fur there. And away from his head, or his hat. And then right along this line to soften it. And then I'm going to go with T7 next. So for T7, let's go ahead and fill this side in because it's the farthest away and it's tipped downward. And that little white spot I still had. And then up here, we'll add a little bit to this edge, like this. And then we'll fill in that little section right here with our T6. Now, depending on how much pressure you put, it may not be dark enough for you. So I'm going to go ahead and just give my little guy a second coat. So again, I'm just going to go right back over where I had all these colors already. Just darken him up a little bit. And this is totally optional. You do not have to give him a second coat. I'm pretty light-handed when I put down my colors, so they don't get as dark. If you leave your marker down a little bit longer, they could be a lot darker than what mine is. Okay, then we're going to go down here and we'll work on his arm on this side. So let's do T9 again first. So we're going to go away from his body. I'm going to try not to color his belly because we want that to be white. And then let's go ahead and bring this color right along the edge of that fin or arm. Next we'll add T8. So we just want to soften this edge. Go right along that edge. Brush away just a little bit. And then T7, again, just add a little bit more. And then for our T6, I'm going to use that up here on the turned up part of his flipper, and then fill this little line in. I'm actually liking the color on that one, so I'm going to leave that with one coat for a minute. We'll see how it goes. And then we'll go over here and we'll start on his body. So again, grab T9 first. And for our T9, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to bring this out underneath of his belly. And then I'm going to bring this color down and around over here where there's a couple of little dots right here. But since this is way underneath, I'm going to go ahead and flick this out just a little bit more. Bring that out just a little bit. And then over here, let's go underneath of his head. And we're going to go right down the side of that of his arm. And then we'll go next to his belly. And I'm going to go ahead and connect this so it'll be really dark around here to right here. Go all the way around. Okay, then we're going to do his arm. So let's do a little dab right here where his arm is folded. And then I'm going to go from the little snowflake down the back of his body. And let's see, I think I'm going to go ahead and connect it to this line. I don't know why I stopped. Next, we are going to add our T8. So we want to soften this line. So let's go up here where he's got that little crease first. And then we're going to come down here. Soften that. Bring this color. I'm going to go ahead and bring this down a little bit more. Exaggerate that line. And bring them together there in a little triangle. And we're going to bring this down to soften this line. And then I'm going to brush this color up until it comes around kind of this bend right here. Okay, and then over here for his hand, let's go ahead and do a little dab right here. And then we're going to bring this down along his arm, the back side. I'm kind of extending my line so that it gets a little bit longer. And here his body curves around, so I'm bringing my strokes around in that curve so they don't just go straight. Next, we're going to add our T7. So let's go ahead and fill this little section right here in. And then up here, we're going to bring this down a little bit. And then like the 8, we're going to go ahead and brush this out. And we're going to extend our lines so they get a little bit longer. And now it's starting to curve, so make sure that your lines curve around with his body. And then right here we got some of that color, so let's go ahead and drag this up. And give us a couple swipes right in there. And then we'll add our T6 to fill it in. So don't forget his hand up here. Holding this snowflake. And then we're just going to brush down and over this little white space. So mine's still got a little bit of a line right in here. So I'm going to go ahead and brush it one more time. All right, we're going to do his face and his belly next. So let's do T2, 1, 0, and our colorless blender. And I'm going to start with T2. Let's go ahead and do his face first. So for his face, I'm going to go right next to his hat. I'm going to keep it skinny up here at the top. And then as I get down here towards the bottom, like his little eyebrow, I'm going to kind of go around in a little circle. So it's going to get wider right here in this corner. And then we're going to come down and around towards his wing. Then we're going to add T1. So we just want to soften this edge. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to add a little bit to kind of round this corner out. And then I want to lightly brush away from my T2. So I'm touching down on my T2 and then I'm lightly pulling it away. And I'm going to go about the middle of his belly with my T1. And then we'll add T00, same thing. We're just going to brush right along the edge of T1 and soften this up. And we'll go about halfway between his arm and the edge of his face there. And then we'll take our colorless blender and we're just going to swipe like over the top of all three colors and out towards the white. When you get over here where the black is, try not to touch the black. And then I left the rest of his face white. Okay, I'm going to go with T2 again. So let's go do his belly. So we're going to go underneath of his chin or his face. And we'll come down and there's a little line right here that goes over his belly. So I'm going to go right over the top of that. And then we'll come down here and go by this one. And here's another little line. So we're going to exaggerate that a little bit. And we'll come down again. And then right here, this little line doesn't go all the way out, but I'm going to make it come out. And then we'll come down and around the bottom of his belly. I went to about the back of his foot here. But he also has some little lines coming down the front of his chest. I'm going to go ahead and do those. And then there's not one here, so I'm going to put one there. And then a little one right here. And then these. So make it look like he has a line down the center of his stomach. Okay, with our T1, just like our face, we're just going to go right along the edge of our T2 and soften that edge. And then when we do these little lines, I'm going to extend them a little bit so they're going to go out further. So I'm brushing right over the top of my T2, coming down and coming this way. And I didn't do anything to the center line. I want that to be dark so that we can see it. And then we'll add T0. Same thing, we'll just soften T1. Extend this little line. And then we'll use our colorless blender like we did on his face. We'll touch down on the edge of T2 and brush crossed out into the white. Make sure to be careful of the black. And then for those little belly lines, I'm going to go ahead and go back with my T2 and put those back in. Oh, let's do his cheeks next. For that, we're going to use R30 and R00. So for R30, we're going to start over here, and I try to make him so that his eye's right here, and I kind of go over here towards the right. I'm going to touch down kind of in the middle. I'm just kind of scratching it across. Trying not to be too heavy-handed on it because I want it to be pretty light. Same for this side. We're going to go to the left side of his eye. I try to put my pin down kind of in the middle of the circle and then pull out, and then from this side you can put it down in the middle and pull away. That keeps all the dark color in the middle instead of on the outside. And then with my R00, I want to go over the side, so let's go ahead and touch down on your R30 and then pull out into the white. Now I'm going to go ahead and darken it up just a little bit more with R30. All right, so now we're going to go with YR09, YR16, and YR12 for his feet and his beak. So we'll go ahead and we'll do YR09 first. I'm going to go on the left side, so we're going to do about half of that. And then for his foot down here, we're going to go across underneath of his body, and then I'm going to come down the bottom side that's tipped towards the snow. And I'm going to go ahead too, there's a couple little creases right here, so I'm going to go underneath of those. And then for this foot, we're going to go, my pin's getting a little damp there, I'm going to pop the other end off. I don't want it to make one of those big blobs. I must have maybe filled this one. I get a little crazy with my filling sometimes. Okay, and then we're going to go with our YR16 next. So touch down on top of your, I forgot what color it was, 09. And you're just going to pull out towards the edge. Over here, there's not going to be much, but I'm going to leave a little bit, because he's leaning pretty heavy on this side, so it's going to be pretty dark. But I'm going to leave like a little shiny spot just on the top of his foot. And then we'll do YR12 over the entire thing to fill it in. And I think that I'm going to do 2 coats. Let's go with our 09 again. And then 16. And then 12 to fill it in. With my last color, I tend to go over the entire thing, just kind of swipe over it quickly. Let's hop up and do that snowflake. So we're going to do B01, B00, and B000. And I'm going to go B01 first. And I'm going to go in the middle of this little circle. I'm going to fill that in. And then I'm going to brush out on each of these little sticks. And for the little tree parts, well, they look like little trees, I'm going to do this bottom section. Pretty simple on that. And then we'll do B00. So we're going to brush up, I'd say in this little sticks, this side with the 2 little sticks in the middle. And then for the tree, we're going to try to keep it even. So let's go up wherever the little double stick is. You could also, if you wanted, you could do one of the snowflakes that come in your kit. You could just completely cover that snowflake up with one of those snowflakes. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest in with my B000. So now let's go ahead and do the fur. So C1 and C0, nothing too fancy. With our C1, we're going to do along the bottom curve of this little pom-pom. And there's a little puff right here, so I kind of kept it in a C underneath that. And then for his hat, I'm going to go right along this edge. And then I kind of brush it so that it flicks away. My pin automatically picks up whenever I get towards the edge. Or this way, when I swipe this way, it gets a little bit thinner out here in the end. And then we'll add C0 over that. So touch down on I forgot what it was, C1. And just brush up into your white. And with this one, we want it to just disappear. So it gives it the dimension, but it's not really there. All right, so that leaves us with a little hat. For that, we're going to use R89, 37, 24, and 14. So let's go ahead and start with our R89. And for that, we're going to do the bottom of his hat down here. I'm going to brush up a little bit, make a little triangle, and then go up here towards his hat, towards that little line. And then we'll fill in this little line. And give that a little V in there. And then right here, we're going to bring this up and right along the edge of that fur. Then we're going to add 37. So touch down on top of 89. And then where this line is, I'm going to bring it out more. And for this side. And we're going to give it 2 coats, so don't worry if it looks terrible. Then we'll do 24 next. So same thing, we're going to brush right on top of our 37. Just bring it out, bring that line up more, bring this up, connect it over here. And then we'll add 14. So I'm not going to go all the way this time. I'm just going to brush right along this edge and leave a little bit of white so that when I come back for my second coat, it will be lighter there. So grab 89 again. So when I go with my second coat, I tend to go a little bit past where I had it the first time. .37's next. Touch down on top of 89. Pull past where you had the 37 last time. You should still be able to see it. And work it over here to the side. And we'll do 24. So touch down on top of 37. Brush up past the 24 you did last time. So it's almost at the end of where I stopped my 14. And then we'll do 14 last. I'm going to go ahead and fill this in. I'm just going to run my pin along the edge so I don't accidentally go out of the lines. And then for this color, I like to go clear across. So swipe it over the entire hat. And that is our little penguin all colored. So now I'm going to cut him out and we'll put our card together. Alrighty, so I completely put the card together without putting the record button, so I have had to color my little penguin over. I know, exciting, right? And then I had to cut all this stuff back out because I didn't have any extras. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to put this adorable wood snowflake piece first. And you could also, if you wanted to see the shaker bits through your card more, you could do this. Put a piece of white behind your shaker so that you wouldn't see the snowflakes through the background. Okay, then next let's go ahead and do the shaker window. So I'm going to go ahead and put some sticky on this. And we'll just stick this piece of acetate right onto the back. Okay, and then I had the forethought of getting my tape all ready this time. So let's go ahead and do across the top. And then I'm going to do a couple of shorter ones along the sides. And always make sure that when you put them down that they butt up against each other so that none of the shaker bits will fall out. And then you will need one for down here on the bottom, which I forgot the first time, so it kind of works out great that I had to redo it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this embossing stuff that you use to anti-static tool, and I'm just going to run that around next to the sticky part in case when I layered it up, because I have 2 layers there, it didn't stick all the way. And then I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit right here and hope that it maybe helps the little sequins not stick to the background with static electricity. And then I got my sequins here. I'm going to go ahead and dump those out. And you get a packet of sequins in your kit, so you'll get plenty of those. So you want to, when you get your little packet of sequins, you're going to want to make sure that you divide them into 3 so that you'll have enough for each of your cards. And then I'm going to wipe off the front of this little window real quick to make sure I don't have any of my powder stuff on there. And then we're going to, see, it's already sticking up to the top of the window. It's collecting my little shaker bits. I'll put this down. And then let's give it a little shake. Make sure that they're not all stuck. Look how perfect. Next, let's go ahead and add the snowflakes. So I'm just going to give them a little dab of liquid glue on the back and stick them on. And then I saved a couple of red sequins to put on the top so that they would really pop. Makes them stand out a little bit more. Next, we're going to put down our North Pole sign, and it's going to go on like this, so I'm only going to put glue over here on this side and then down the stick. And then I'm going to stick it down here at the bottom of my little dash lines up to the top. And I'm going to try to watch the side because you don't want it to stick out too far or else it won't fit into the envelope. Next, we're going to have this, but we're going to put a little piece of foam tape on the back right here so that it'll lift it up even with the background. Put this on here, right here. Smush it down real good. It's trying to come off. This. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a little bit of my tape runner on the back. So when I stick it to the card, it will stick onto the front too. And we're going to put that right here. And I tried to line it up with the brown paper underneath. And then you just stick it right here. Next, we will have our little penguin guy. And then he's going to go, I think I'm going to give a little dab right here and on his hand. And then, let me see. This is going to kind of go, this is going to hang off, but we're going to want to have a little bit of something over here holding him down too. And then you don't want him to stick off the card too much, so you're going to kind of pay attention to where he's at. But I want his hand to go over the top of my little flag thing here. I'm going to go, how about right here? And it's not off too much. And then he's kind of His hand's kind of sticking up a little bit right here, and then his hat's kind of floating there. All right, so there we go. There's our little shaker card. The stuff all moves around. Who wouldn't want to love to get this in the mail at Christmas time? So if you want a card kit, make sure to hit the link down below in the description box. There's only a couple of these left, so if you want one, you want to grab them up real quick because he's really cute. I don't think they'll last. If you have a question, leave me a comment down below and I will make sure to get back to you, or you can just say hi too. I would love that. If you like the video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I hope you're having a fabulous day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.